All right, folks, I'm going to steal the great Kayvon Azami's catchphrase. Here we go. Fabulous football Saturday action tonight as two Mercer County teams, Princeton and Bluefield, competed in Charleston for state championships. And we're not going to wait around. We're jumping straight into it. My guy, Matt Rainier, was at Lately Field all day getting highlights and reactions from both games. We're going to start with the Class AA championship. Bluefield taking on Frankfurt in a battle of titans. Zach, let's hear from Matt.
A battle of 1 and 2, the undefeated Frankfurt Falcons taking on the Bluefield Beavers. Falcons ground game, they wasted no time, burning more than 6 minutes on the opening drive and capping it off with this touchdown by Carter Shanholtz. But the Beavers, they waste no time themselves. Simpson going deep. He's got a man. It's Pax Calhoun in stride. He gets pushed out close to the 1-yard line, and then it's Simpson right here taking the snap. He'll keep it himself, and he's going to power his way forward, fighting off bodies, and he's in for 6, but that's all they would get because of a blocked extra point. Frankfurt ends up scoring again, so the Beavers go back to the air, and Jamarius Smith wide open on broken coverage. Can he go the distance? Yes, he can. Touchdown Beavers. It's a 2-point ball game. Smith turning on the Jets for that one. They end up deciding to go for 2 to try and tie things up before halftime. And here's Simpson taking the snap, going to Calhoun again, and he gets into the end zone, and we're all tied up at 14 apiece. But the Falcons, they respond just before the halftime mark. Braden Tyler taking this one himself, makes a man miss, still spinning his way forward, finally brought down, and then he sets up a couple plays later. They get in for 6, thanks to this touchdown by Cole Shanholtz to go into halftime up 21-14. The second half, though, is where things gets crazy. Jeremiah Jones gets to start off with a big run, bouncing off bodies, and he gets a huge gain up the middle. Then it's back to the air. Max Simpson to Pax Calhoun, in for 6, and we're all tied up at 21. Then it's Simpson, this time on the quarterback keeper, still moving, fighting his way forward, and gets down close around the 35-yard line, and then back to the air. It's worked all game long. Why not do it again? It's back to Calhoun for his second touchdown of the game, and the Beavers have their first lead of the afternoon. But Frankfurt answers on their very next drive with a short touchdown to tie things up at 28. But the Beavers, they're not done just yet. Simpson finds his man. It's Calhoun just along the sideline. Great adjustment there, and he goes back to him once again. How about a hat trick? Pax Calhoun had himself a day. Count it, 1, 2, 3 touchdowns for the receiver. Absolutely fantastic day. But on 4th and 6, when they needed it most, Braden Tyler for the Falcons takes it all the way, and we're tied up, or they have the lead at 35-34 because Bluefield's last extra point attempt got blocked. And the drive right here for the Beavers stalls. Blake Jacobs got a hand on it, tips the pass, and then Frankfurt makes it an 8-point ball game thanks to this run by Shanholtz. But the Beavers, they're not out of it just yet. That score might have been a bad thing for the Falcons because the Beavers get another chance to attack, and it's going back to the air. It's Hailey Simon, and he's in for the touchdown. They have to go for 2. Back of the end zone to Calhoun. He's got it. Oh, my goodness. What a catch. Unbelievable. The Beavers have tied it up with 17 seconds left in the ball game. But Frankfurt, will they take the knee to try for overtime, or are they going to try to do something to see if they can make some magic happen? But what's this? Some trickery. It's going to be Tyler heaves it up. It's Keaton Nestor. He's wide open, and he walks in with 3 seconds left. Frankfurt wins it on a dagger, 49-42, to become the 2025 Class 2A state champions.
And I'm kind of at a loss for words there. What a barn burner of a game. And that's a tough loss for a Bluefield team that has the pieces in place to be excellent for years to come. And Max Simpson, he may have not gotten the win, but that performance stamped him as an elite quarterback in the state and honestly, the entire country. All right, Zach, let's move on along here to Princeton, the 3A championship. Princeton taking on Nitro. The big storyline of the night, without a doubt, was Brad Mosser. He might be the most dominant player in the state. He scored 5 times, but was that enough to get the W? Matt's going to tell you about it.
One seeking redemption, the other seeking to prove it doesn't matter where you're seated. The 2-seeded Princeton Tigers taking on the 5-seeded Nitro Wildcats. Starting things off here early on for the Tigers, it's Alex Cox. He gets things going with a nice cut outside, gets past the 50, up to the 45, and pushed out of bounds at around the 40-yard line. Then later on, it's going to be Chance Barker taking the snap. He's going to keep it on himself on a QB keeper. It gets pushed forward and gets knocked down close to around the 5-yard line. And then it's Brad Mosser finishing it off for what will be his first touchdown of a historic night. But later on, it's the Tigers back on offense. Wyatt Klein getting the pass right here. He's going to zig. He's going to zag, weaving his way through traffic, fighting his way forward, still fighting off bodies, and he gets brought down at around midfield. But a bad snap right here goes over the quarterback's head, and the Wildcats diving on top of it. They're all over it to get the takeaway. And then it's Ian Duffy rolling out, taking a shot, looking, and it's Jay Lee Burnett with a toe drag in the end zone, and we're all tied up at 7 apiece. Barker, he's rolling around trying to find a man open, but he gets taken down near the end zone. That's Caden McAllister in for the sack, and Princeton has to punt. But then it's Duffy finding his man, rolling around looking, and he's going to get his man. It's Burnett taking it in stride, and he's going to take it up close to around the 5-yard line, and he's going to get close, but they would end up coming away empty-handed. Then it's going to be Barker rolling around and looking and find his man, and it's going to be taking it up close to midfield, past midfield, and then gets it close, but they'd have to punt. Then, here we go, Duffy looking, gonna take a deep shot. He's got his man, Wildcats in the second half, and he goes deep for Malachi Thompson, and Nitro has its first lead of the game. But Mosser takes this handoff, finds the lane. He got a touchdown callback earlier, but he takes this one in for 6, but a missed extra point makes it 14-13. Duffy rolling around. He's going to heave this one up. A dangerous pass, as you'll see right here, and it's Landon Crane diving in to get the interception. Princeton takes over deep in enemy territory, and Mosser takes the handoff, sheds a couple tackles, and he's in for his 3rd touchdown of the night. 20-14 lead now, but the Wildcats, they bite back. A deep strike to Thompson, leaping. He mosses his man. He mossed Mosser, and he's in for 6. They have the lead again, 21-20. Now it's going to be Barker, rolling, looking, still scanning, trying to find his man, taking a shot, and he gets Mosser in stride, still moving and grooving, trying to get his way up to midfield. But now Barker, we had a great pass last time. This one, not so much. He gets picked off. It deep in his, and it takes it back deep into his own territory. And now the Wildcats, they're starting to knock on the door. Here we go. Gives the handoff, and it's going to be Chris Radcliffe. Stiff arms his man, trying to find a lane, and he is in for the touchdown. That interception was by Malik Brown, by the way. But the Wildcats, they have the lead. They decide to go for 2, rolling around, and they get the 2-point conversion right here, and they have a 9-point lead. But the Tigers, they answer. They're going to go deep. It's Mosser. What a catch. He's in for 6. They decide to go for 2 themselves, trying to make this a 1-point game. Let's see if they can do it. Right here, you'll see Barker going to give it off to Mosser, and he easily gets in, and it's a 1-point game just like that. Now Duffy taking the snap, rolling, throwing off his back foot. He gets picked again. This time it was Crane for the 2nd time in the game. And Mosser going to take advantage, finding it, diving for the pylon, and he is in for 6. Touchdown Tigers, going for 2 once again, and who else would it be? Brad Mosser once again capitalizing and scoring. But the Wildcats, they drive all the way deep into the red zone, and it's Takey Porter. He gets in right here, diving over the line. We have a 1-point game, but they say we don't want overtime. We want to win right here. The season comes down to a 2-point conversion. Duffy takes the snap, looks, throws, and the pass is incomplete. That seals it. What a team, what a ride. For the first time in school history, the Tigers are Class 3A football state champions.
And what a championship weekend it was. 2 of the best games of the season happening today. And a crazy stat from the Princeton game, both teams combined for 44 points in the 4th quarter alone. And this Princeton team, as you heard Matt say, carved its team in the record books. Its very first football championship in school history. Matt got to talk to some of the key players in this one. Here's what they had to say.
So Coach, first year on the job, and the first state title for Princeton football in school history. What was your success all year long? What's the key to it?
I think it was just how resilient the kids were and how hard they worked. I was telling somebody today was day 255 of.
He's goated.
Today was the 255th day, that we've been doing football stuff since April the 1st.
When it comes to making plays like this, I overheard you made an audible to be able to make that adjustment. You were supposed to blitz initially, so what did you see to make you say, you know what, I have to take a chance?
Not gonna lie, all year I've been kind of a slow blitzer guy. I haven't been that good at it. And so Coach Jones called it. I said, I'm not going. I'm gonna go try and make a play on the football. And sure enough, me and Alex Cox was in great position to do it.
It feels like every game you were able to put on a show for us, but it feels like you saved your best for last. 5 touchdowns tonight. How were you able to keep up the success despite all the pressure that they were sending your way?
My guys up front and the one throwing me the ball and the receivers around me. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be doing what I was doing.
And I talked to you on Wednesday. You wanted to be remembered as one of the greatest to ever do it. Do you feel like you've accomplished that goal now?
Nah, I think I'm behind old Dom Collins, but I'm glad to be up there.
All right, and some of the other games this weekend both happened on Friday. Morgantown in the Quad A championship goes and takes down Martinsburg 28-21. Single way, Wheeling Central, that's a powerhouse of a team up there in the Northern Panhandle. They win 56-34. And as we come back to wrap things up here, Matt's going to be back in the studio tomorrow. He's still on his way back from Charleston, but tomorrow he's going to take you into these games in way greater detail. But that's going to do it for me. When we come back, Tanner has your final forecast. Don't miss it.